Welcome to Rams Iconic. I'm your host, D'Marco Farr, and this is the podcast where I get to catch up with some of the greatest players in Rams history. It's a chance for you, the fans, to take a trip down memory lane and reminisce about some of the greatest moments you've had as Rams fans, but also an opportunity, and I love this, especially today, to introduce to some of our newer fans iconic players that made this franchise what it is today. And my youngest guest ever on Rams Iconic, by far, but iconic fits, Steven Jackson. How are you, man? What's going on? What it do?
I'm good. How you been, bro?
I'm good. I said I'm still getting used to you without the dreads now. Are you growing them back out now?
No, I'm just a little mane, not a full one.
I like it.
Yes.
You still look like you can get it done, big fella.
I stay in shape.
I know, big time.
You know how those kids around the house, man. You guys, yeah.
How you, 100 carries maybe?
I got 100.
You got 100?
I got
Okay.
100. Just spread it out, please.
There might be a job open. Like I said, I'm gonna wear you out in December though. But what it do, man? I mean, how's the? You've been out for 6 years. This is your sixth season.
This is my sixth season.
How is that transition going from player to not player?
You know, I think the first 2 years were the toughest. You know, you're trying to figure out who you are as a human, as a man. And then on top of that, you're watching some of your peers still play, right?
Yeah.
So you turn on the TV and you're like, oh man, that guy's still going. So then you're like, did I stop too soon kind of questions? But now the last 4 years have been blissful, have been amazing. Being involved with Legends community keeps me somewhat still intact with what's going on in the culture. But it's been good. It's been a good transition for me.
It's funny, doing what you did, and you did it well. I'm going to go over your list of accomplishments. We don't have that much time, but what I'm saying, what you did and what you are going to be for the rest of your life, that's a weird transition for all players.
It really is, because, you know, I started playing the game at 7 years old.
Yeah.
So from the age of 7 until 5 years ago, every July and August was training camp. Mm-hmm. You look at the clock, you're like, okay, I got team, I got individual meeting, and then all of a sudden that's gone. That structure's gone away from you. And you're trying to figure it out then. What I realized is just implementing that same structure in my life, just around different things. And, you know, again, going back to the kids, going back to the family, that keeps me engaged. But it's definitely a transition where you're not the marquee guy anymore. Yeah. And it takes a little bit of time to get used to that.
Waiting in line?
Yeah. The carpool line is the worst.
That's crazy, right? Yeah, you're just another parent, right? I know. I'm with you. All right, so first round pick, 2004, 24th overall, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time second team All-Pro. I don't know why people don't like to talk about their second team All-Pro. That's still a hell of a list to be on. You got to be proud of that, right?
I am. I think I got snubbed at least 1 year.
Yeah?
I think I should have been first
at
team
least
1 year.
1 year. Steven, I saw a lot of your games. What do you mean 1 year? There's more than that.
At least. I'm just saying, I don't want to be too selfish.
If you factored in what you had to deal with versus what you did, see, that's the last point. But let me get to this. Franchise leader in rushing yards, 10,138 yards, 56 rushing touchdowns in the Rams uniform. All those, man, to me, were hard-fought yardage, man. I mean, it was more than about you carrying the football. It was like you carrying the franchise. Did you feel that back in the day?
I did. You know, I really did. Because I had a chance to see the last of you guys, the greatest show on turf. So once I got there, the tradition had been set. Mm-hmm. You know, so the expectations were there. Then when you guys start retiring and it was just me, I was like, holy crap. Not only do I have to continue what these guys already started, but I got to maintain it until I get other help around.
Right.
Now that help took a little longer than I thought it would.
It's here now.
Yeah, right. But it was a sense of I had to carry it for the franchise, but it also became somewhat of my bell cow, and something I hung my hat on. It's like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it the only way I know how, and that's all out.
See, that's what I was just talking to a mutual friend of ours, and you saw him over there. I don't want to say his name because you don't want me to say his name on camera, but you know what I'm talking about. And I just remember your run, your brilliance was kind of overshadowed a little bit by a team that was in constant transition. Ownership, coaching, everything, but you still produced year in and year out. And we're trying to put a label on your career. And every time somebody talks about Steven Jackson, the first word out of their mouth is always underappreciated. Did you feel underappreciated during your career?
I still do. I actually do. You know, sometimes, well, let's go to the first point. During my career, I really felt underappreciated because, like, to the point, no one really understood all the intricacies that I had to deal with, right?
I did. I saw it,
Right. So it's constantly changes. There were some times in games where I was playing with offensive linemen, I didn't even know their name. Then you compound that over years of trying to get it right.
Yeah.
You know, it was a stretch where I only won 6 games in 3 years. Mm-hmm. So the underappreciated was happening then, and then post-career, you see some of the guys from my generation that's considered, you know, some fan favorites, they're great guys. I just, I think if I was on a different team or our situation here was a little different,
Yeah.
I think my name would be up there just with anybody else.
Man, I said it right when you sat down. What can you do in this offense with Sean McVay? Look at at your face.
Yeah.
What would you be able to do in an offense like this when you're facing a 7-man box versus a 9-man box? Boy, I can't tell you how many family members I have fought with when they would say Steven Jackson ain't all that. Do you know what the 49ers did? They broke the huddle and put 9 guys in the line of scrimmage and said, beat us someplace else, because it ain't going to be Steven. But that's week in and week out, and the guy still produces, and you still don't get the rub. So I hope someday that you do. I've seen the list, the 10,000-yard list. There's 31 guys on that list. You're 18th. 16 of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. You're ahead of 2 of them. Hall of Fame, does that ever creep in? Do you start to think about that, as a player now? How do you feel about it?
Well, I think statistically I have a good argument. It goes back to what do other people consider those intangibles, and do I fit in there? Either way, DeMarco, I would say this. I'm at peace. Mm-hmm. I've done everything I could on the football field. I gave the game what I had to give, and I'm very proud of that. If Canton calls my name, I'll be there to give a great speech, and if not, hey, I'll come keep seeing you.
No doubt, absolutely. Yeah. If you get down the list of people that are going to induct you, if 1 through 4 fall out, call me, because I've seen everything. I can tell you what this guy went through. But yeah, do me a favor, stand up. Yeah. So when I met kids back in the day and they said, I want to be a professional football player, I would say, come on down to the Dome, come stand with me at the tunnel, and wait for Steven Jackson to come running out. Yeah. If you still want this, when you see him, then you have a future. You know what I mean? Then you have a future. I just had to do that. But man, so besides that, now giving back to football, how would you give back to football now with kids or current players?
Yeah, it's twofold. So with the kids, I work with Oregon State University, my alumni, and I'm helping with the curriculum with name, image, and likeness. Going back there and working with 400 student athletes on campus, helping them understand how to brand themselves, how to conduct themselves in interviews, how to find a market, who's ever interested in the market for their name, image, and likeness. So that's one way I'm giving back, just trying to help kids understand the business side of the game. And as far as the professional side of the game, I work with Legends Community, with the NFL, helping our peers who transition in retirement, how to have a smoother ride. Because in the past, I think some of us were left behind, and because of that, there's some bad taste in our mouth. But now we're trying to get ahead of that bad taste and seeing that guys don't always end their career the way they want to. It's not always about that. It's about the relationships you maintain and what you can grow from it.
See, I wouldn't have been left behind. I would just miss the bus. Yeah, without an itinerary or alarm clock, I'm lost, absolutely lost. Steven, man, it's so good catching up with you, man.
As well.
Like I said, bro, I'm a fan. You've always been a hero. We go all the way back to Mequon. Means a lot. So, Steven Jackson, everybody, thanks for joining us on the show. That's a wrap on another episode of Rams Iconic. Hope you enjoyed the conversation with the great Steven Jackson. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you'd be so kind, go ahead and leave us a review. Let us know which Rams legend you'd like to hear from, and we will call them until we get them. Until next time. And if you want to be one of the first to experience SoFi Stadium to purchase either season tickets or single game tickets, visit therams.com/tickets. That's therams.com/tickets. Thanks for listening. I'm D'Marco Farr. We'll see you next time on Rams Iconic.